answer your question, like travel is just, it really opens up your mind, you know? It really is, it's, I don't know, it's everything for me.
College, the 4 years we spend of our life trying to figure out how to live the rest of it. For most students, college is freedom. With freedom comes choices, lots of choices. While consumed with textbooks and back-to-back classes, we somehow still manage a part-time job and social life. Yeah, college is hard, but it's still so rewarding. I think we can agree that these years we spend studying is one of the most pivotal points in discovering who we are. With this freedom that we're given, why don't we take advantage to do more while we're young, before we get a full-time job, get married, and settle down? I can't speak for everyone, but I don't want to look back on these years saying that I wish I had done more. Some of the best advice that I've been given and always try to live by is to do one thing every day that scares me. Why don't we take more risks? Specifically speaking, why don't we travel more, get off campus and explore what's beyond our dorm room walls? I didn't know the answer, so we decided to find out.
Do you like to travel?
I love to travel.
To be honest, not really. I think I'm just like more of a homebody.
Oh, dude, I love to travel. Been in Alaska, Kodiak, Alaska. It's a little island way south. California, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Texas.
I do. I really love seeing new places.
Colorado, live there, where God resides, I believe that. I've been East Coast and West Coast, so all over.
Like you could study, for example, China or London for days or months or years, but not know about it until you like step foot there. So.
Do you get to travel as much as you'd like?
I do not travel often, hardly ever actually, which is kind of unfortunate, but hopefully after I graduate for sure.
It depends.
Yeah, I don't travel often, but I love traveling. Like when I get a chance to travel, I'll travel.
Not as much as I'd like, but I've had some awesome experiences as a traveler, whatever.
Why or why not?
It depends on if I have money or not.
Money. It's money. I don't have money at hand, and flights are expensive.
School. I mean, I'm in nursing school, so literally all I do is sit in the library. But I have a lot of places that I'd like to go.
I love to travel, but with like work and school and everything else, it's really hard to kind of do that. Money, just money.
So, money and time. Those seem to be the reoccurring roadblocks that prevent college students from getting away from campus and out into the world more. Money and midnight deadline assignments. So how much would you save for a weekend trip to, let's say, San Francisco?
Like $400, maybe?
Are we staying like in a nice place?
Oh, man.
Maybe like $1,000?
I would probably save,
I would save like $1,000.
Yeah, probably about 1,000.
I'd probably save like $1,000 to go.
Do you think you could make it there and back on $100?
Do I have to buy a plane ticket too?
No, because my gas mileage is crap.
No, I don't think I could.
I think you could. I wouldn't want to like sleep in in a stranger's house.
No. You have to pay for gas, and you have to feed yourself. And if you're going to Yosemite, you probably have to pay like to stay there, or you have to pay for like a permit. So $100, I don't think will be enough.
So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're leaving our credit cards behind and seeing just how far we can make it in one weekend on $100. My name is Logan Lorian.
And I'm Oliver Jagger. We're both film students, we love to travel, and we're both pretty freaking broke.
Being my senior year, I decided to start making the most of my time. I spent too much time with a tomorrow mentality, telling myself that I'll do this or that later. I personally believe there's so much more to learn about myself by just going and letting God lead me than I could ever learn in a textbook. It's hard to put into words what I get out of traveling, and that's exactly why I want to make this documentary.
Traveling was that unobtainable, mysterious thing that I never thought I could do. With 2 jobs and school, I just couldn't find the time. It wasn't until I talked with Logan that I knew this is something I had to do. I needed to get out of my comfort zone, live a little, do something that I would never forget. This is my opportunity, and I took it.
So why only bring $100? We decided this is an amount that a good majority of students could work to save up for a weekend trip. It's not so much the amount that we want to focus on, it's the fact that money should never be the deciding factor which holds you back from traveling.
If you are smart with your money, you'll be surprised how far you can make it.
Okay, so the amount is chosen. Now we need a destination. We agreed on Yosemite National Park in Northern California. Oliver had never been there, and I've been dying to go back since my last visit. Next, we had to set some rules, or challenges if you will, for this excursion. We can only bring one backpack.
No credit cards, $100 cash only.
We have 1 weekend to make it there and back.
We must travel by plane, train, bus, and automobile, all within the $100 budget.
We cannot under any circumstances phone a friend or family member for assistance.
So why set these 5 rules? It's simple. If we really can do this in 1 weekend with minimal planning, cash, and outside help,
just imagine what you could do and how far you can go on the contrary. We wanted to test our limits and see just how much we could do with less. We waited until 2 weeks out to start looking for a flight. When it comes to flying, Spirit, Frontier, and Allegiant Airlines are the cheapest airlines in existence. They run $19 one-way flights and sales as low as 99% that are going on all the time. You just have to look.
we found a weekend round-trip flight through Frontier from Vegas to San Francisco for $64.
A little pricey, personally speaking, but we booked it, and in 2 weeks, our trip would begin. Saturday, February 20th, 2016, Phoenix, Arizona.
Backpacks packed, cameras ready, it was go time.
We had $36 left to spend. We were at least guaranteed to make it to San Francisco if we could find a ride to Vegas.
Just when we thought we weren't going to get picked up, we didn't. So we went with plan B.
We decided to drive to Vegas, costing us another $14 per person in gas.
We now had $22 whole left to spend. During the drives, we each set some goals for the trip. I wanted a hammock in Yosemite.
And I just wanted to do a headstand somewhere that it shouldn't be done. Once in Vegas, we parked the cars close to the airport as possible without having to pay any parking fees. Then we walked along the intertwining freeways to our terminal. Now in our seats, we took flight heading towards San Francisco. The journey through San Francisco was definitely a tough one. We hitchhiked from the airport with a taxi driver named Timur for free, who took us to University of San Francisco because we had nowhere to sleep and we knew it was the one place we probably would fit in.
We hadn't eaten since breakfast, and we were both getting pretty hungry.
What happened next doesn't always work, but it's worth a try when traveling cheap. Restaurants throw away food all the time. Simply ask the manager if there's anything that they can spare. Be honest, lose your pride a little, and you might just score an entire box of garlic potatoes for dinner. I can't tell you how many times this has worked when traveling. Saturday, February 21st. Our plan was to wake up at 5 a.m. to get an early start on the day.
That was a cute idea. It was 9 a.m. before we finally woke up, ate the remaining potatoes, and freshened up in the dorm hall bathroom.
Okay, and yes, I may have set us back an hour.
Left the battery at Best Buy, so kind of dropped the ball, and I'm putting us way behind schedule.
We're not getting to Yosemite.
Yes, we are. We're making it to Yosemite. We just got to get the battery first, which is 4 blocks this way.
Being hours behind our loosely planned schedule, we had to make the decision of whether we were going to Yosemite or not.
I mean, even if we left then, we wouldn't make it until after dark. We had no guaranteed place to sleep, and the money we had left couldn't even buy us a bus ticket back. With that being said, we went for it.
It was almost 1 p.m. before we finally set out for Yosemite. We hopped on a bus. By hopped on, I mean we snuck on that bus.
We then, honest to God, accidentally snuck through an open gate to the BART train and got off as far east as the train took us.
We made a sign from the tricks box we received the night before and stuck our thumbs out hoping to catch a ride. It took patience, but after about 30 minutes of waiting, we were on Highway 120. There was no turning back now.
We spent our first dollar outside of travel expenses on slushies in the small town of Escalon, halfway to Yosemite. It was $1 well spent. $21 left.
It was at that gas station that I prayed, and I told Oliver that I felt strongly the next car to pick us up would be red. I could be wrong, but that's what I felt the Lord speak, as strange as it sounds.
That's when Luke pulled up, in a red Honda Element.
Hey guys, let's do it.
All right, cool, let's do it.
So I went to a really large research institution for 2 years thinking that that's what I wanted, to live the cliche college experience. I just, it wasn't for me, so I took the time out of school to reevaluate what I wanted and go to Europe. And I think travel is essential. It really opens up your mind to what you want to study, what you want to do with your life, because no 18-year-old going into their first year in college has any idea what they want to do with their life. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're destined to be a chemist for the rest of your life, You're not going to know what you want to do. Not to get too hippy-dippy woo-woo on you, but what is the meaning of life? What do you care about? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? You gotta see the world before you know what you want to do to change it.
If you can't already tell, God had been providing above and beyond what we could ask for on this trip.
We successfully hitchhiked Highway 120 until we hit Groveland, California, a small town 45 minutes outside of Yosemite. We were so close. And I'm not gonna lie, it was getting pretty cold and cars passed us by for a good hour.
What the heck are we gonna do? Nobody was picking us up after about an hour of hitchhiking. Thank God, finally, this awesome couple where we're at their house right now welcomed us into their home. We got to ride in their truck bed. What today could have been was just, you know, exploring the city of San Francisco, which would have been cool all in that of itself, but we decided to, you know, I don't know, take a risk, and look where we are now. We got to meet an awesome couple who, you know, welcomed us into our home, into their home, and so we got a warm bed to sleep in, and tomorrow we're gonna make it to Yosemite.
7:06 a.m., Sunday, February 22nd. We woke up at Jeff and Julie's, thanked them for their hospitality, and got back on the road.
It wasn't long before we yet again had been picked up. The thing I've discovered about hitchhiking is that it's not as dangerous as most people think. It's not for everyone, I get that. Everyone who has ever picked me up while hitchhiking has been in my shoes at one point or another in their life and simply wanted to pay it forward. Not only that, but you get to meet like-minded travelers, establishing connections with those people everywhere you go.
You get to meet people like Eli, who took us on the final stretch right into our end destination, Yosemite National Park.
We made it. It was time to head home. We were still in Yosemite and had 8 hours left to catch our flight. We were there for about an hour and a half and even ended up turning down 2 rides because they were headed in the wrong direction.
It was about 2:30, and it seemed as if all hope had been lost. I put my head down and prayed. I prayed that God would give us someone, anyone who could take us to our destination. About 5 minutes later, a gray Volkswagen TDI pulls over and asks us where we were heading. Michael and Cora were our saviors. They got us into San Francisco just on time.
After actually paying the $8.95 fare for the train this time to the airport, catching our flight back to Vegas, paying for one more full tank of gas and 2 Cokes, we had 25 whole cents left to spare. We did it. We made it from Phoenix, Arizona to Yosemite, California and back on $100.
Our purpose wasn't to show that this is how it has to be done, that you have to hitchhike, hop on trains, and take buses.
We did this in one weekend with minimal planning, cash, and no outside help. Just imagine what you could do and how far you can go on the contrary. We ended up making it to Yosemite, but how far can you go? Don't overthink it. Just get out, take a risk, and trust God. Just go.